Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Wow. So intense. It's like, boom. You're on, man. You're on. I like it.
It's the BumbleKast. It's worth getting excited over.
Are you asking for a challenge?
No, I'm asking for your questions.
Oh, okay. Do we have anything else to get to before we get into the questions, or should we just jump right on in?
I'm ready to get into our priority questions that have come to us via Patreon, via Ko-fi, and via our YouTube membership.
Alrighty then, let's do it to it. We got a hefty load of questions today, so let's go ahead and just get it started right now. Here's a question from X. I've just finished watching the first two Men in Black films. Both are great, preferred the first. But that gets me thinking, would the Sonic universe need or have an MIB? I mean, there's obviously extraterrestrial life, as seen with wisps and black arms. There's the possibility of more life out there. Yet, unlike Earth, people in Sonic's world seem okay with new life forms, adopting the wisps into Earth no problem. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't think an MIB would really work, especially after the Black Arms invasion. Can't really put the genie back in the bottle after that one.
The question is, did the Black Arms invade Sonic's world or not Sonic's world, the human world? Or is that, are we not even going to talk about that?
We're not even going to worry about that. Let's just say aliens.
Okay.
Yeah, aliens everywhere, and even disregarding that, Perfect Chaos drowned a city. I know the Chow are not aliens, but that's kind of high level, not your normal thing. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure that the denizens of the world, or worlds, however you want to slice it, are kind of accustomed to crazy crap happening every now and again.
Yeah.
So at this point, trying to have an MIB say, you know nothing, ain't gonna work unless you put like a neuralizer onto the Ark and just flash fry the planet.
Wow.
Everybody look up real quick. Pachunk.
That would be frightening. Wow. Amazing. I like that idea. All right, here's one from Andrew D. I know Surge and Kit are so new that they haven't even been introduced yet, but I noticed some things about them that I was wondering about. If you can answer them, then great. If not, I understand. So it seems Surge and Kit have lightning and water powers respectively. If you can't talk about that, then let's say for the sake of argument that's true. Would there be a reason why Sonic's doppelganger wields Tails' sphere, since Tails is afraid of lightning, and Tails' doppelganger wields Sonic's sphere, since Sonic is afraid of water? Also, assuming Surge and Kit were created in a science experiment of sorts, did Starline figure out how to do that on his own? Or did he study Gerald Robotnik's notes on how to create sentient bioorganics life forms? I'm curious how Shadow might interact with them, knowing they might have similar histories as him while he seemingly chose a different path.
Like 99% of that is going to be covered in imposter syndrome, and immediately after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna have to hashtag knowing smile and back away from this one.
Mm-hmm.
There's some non-spoilery details I could get into, but that would be skating the line so close to the spoilery stuff that no, not gonna do it. Just I'm really glad that people are this hyped for those two. Like, it's honestly terrifying because they've been built up so much in everyone's heads. It's like, please like them when they actually come out.
It's like Tangle.
But like, yeah, at this point, just sit back and relax and enjoy it when it comes out, and then once it is done, then let's talk about what has been presented.
Yeah, you're trying to get the early scoop, man. I appreciate the hustle, but come on. You got to read the books, man. You can't just get all the answers beforehand. We're not here to read the books to you. You must read them yourself. Well, yeah, but
I mean, shoot, I would love to go whole hog and just, spout Sonic all day, every day, all the secrets, but I can't do that. So for now, just gonna have to say wait and see.
Alrighty. Let's get into this question here from Off. Ian and Kyle, do you consider Sonic to be a shonen media? Why or why not?
Kyle, what do you think?
Maybe shonen adjacent? Shonen inspired? I don't know. What do you think?
My knee-jerk reaction to say, yeah, definitely. I mean, you have
teenage
heroes.
I get it, yeah.
In serialized adventures with ever-escalating stakes, with crazy powers, with a high focus on action and an ever-expanding cast. I mean,
and there's
it fits.
Yeah, and there's lots of power creep. Just keeps going.
Honestly, that's how I treated the first arc of IDW as what if I was writing a Western style shonen manga?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of. Dragon Ball Z is like one of the big influences on early Sonic, at least. So, I mean, yeah, it definitely fits the bill. So that's why I say like shonen adjacent or shonen inspired, though, because it's not necessarily like, at least the Western incarnations of it, I suppose, are not directly shonen, but the games.
Yeah,
I'm really splitting hairs. I'm really splitting hairs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of just splitting hairs. I'm splitting quills on this one.
What do you think? Add your comment down to the video down below.
Yes.
Let us know what you think.
Yes.
Drive the algorithm for us.
Vroom vroom. Hit that like button, because that's the only button you can hit now and get any sort of instant feedback, at least.
I guess that's a quick sidebar. Should have mentioned we've hit 2,000 followers.
Oh yeah, 2,000 subscribers. Yes, and growing steadily.
And surpassed. So
yes.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yes, thank you, everybody. We got that a little while ago. So thank you, guys. Keep it up. I like those. I like to see those numbers go up. They keep going up, and they must go up more. So keep it up. All right, here's a question from Ian Waffles. What was the mindset for the writing of issue 247, the final issue of the pre-reboot era? For the final issue, it feels like any other issue with no real acknowledgement of it being the series finality, like a final monologue from Sonic or a wink to the audience that, yeah, this is the end. Was this because it was still up in the air on if the comic would continue or not? Had the reboot not been decided? Or was it just a matter of wanting to get it over with? Or something else completely?
Keep in mind, we typically had scripts in development 6 months before their publishing date. And a whole lot can happen in 6 months. So with 247, the mindset we went in with that was radically different than when we had to pick things back up again after the crossover. The crossover's timing was a gigantic blessing, to be honest, because it gave us a bit of time to figure out what we were going to do when we came back. So while everybody else was kind of reeling from things, we had already processed it and were moving forward.
Right.
So yeah, when 247 was written, there was some concerns, but we thought it was manageable. And then things shifted dramatically. And, we're working on the crossover at that point. And it's like, well, when this wraps up, what do we do when we go back? So while all of you guys were enjoying crossover stuff, we were hammering out the future of the book. It's like that. It's got that crazy time delay.
Yeah.
Sometimes, usually.
And then weren't you rushed with 252 though? Like things changed at the last minute for that one, if I remember correctly, or am I misremembering?
Shoot, I can't remember. I think that was also a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And that one. Yeah, the only thing that we had any kind of heads up on was like Mega Man.
Right, yeah.
Which thankfully we were able to, give that kind of curtain call. But no, Sonic went too fast to be managed. How do you like that?
Typical Sonic. Here's a question from Pan Dulce. Does Starline like video games? If so, what are his favorites? Or does he think they're a waste of time?
He thinks they're an absolute waste of time because any amount of time spent in front of the screen doing input could be coding, could be work. You need to take time to recharge, of course, but there are such things as reading or physical activity. You don't need these frivolities until you put him in front of Minecraft. And then he's like, so let me understand this. The point of the game, the objective, if you will, is to mine so you can craft things, so that you can mine more so you can craft more. You mine to craft and craft to mine. This is absolutely banal. And then, like a week later, he has terraformed his planet. He has built gigantic shrines to Eggman. Don't ask me how he managed to make the whole thing, automated. He's the type of guy who would figure out how to build one of those calculators using redstone. He would have lost his life into that freaking thing.
Yes. Consumes his every waking moment. I like it. Here's one from...
What do you mean there's another region called the Nether? Oh,
no! Now he must terraform that one.
He will conquer all the realms in the name of Dr. Eggman. Yes, their stone could make a very authentic Eggman statue. I must harvest it all.
Here's one from Wolfsbane. Ian and Kyle, both of you have been given the capital to start a video game company that's sole purpose is to remake or remaster long-forgotten games. What would be the first game you do?
Does Skies of Arcadia count as long forgotten, even though...
Yes.
Okay.
It's not...
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not completely forgotten. Definitely not. But it's definitely a dormant IP at this point. So yes.
I mean, it didn't see anything since the GameCube.
Yep.
So...
Yep.
And like...
It's not necessarily forgotten by fans, but it's forgotten by the company that made it.
Like, that would absolutely be a remaster. Like, don't touch the script. Don't touch the pacing. Don't even touch the mechanics that much. Yeah, I know it's a very... kind of slow turn-based, but that's what makes it comfy. Just, full orchestra soundtrack, make everything, high res, and don't go for super realistic Final Fantasy remake stuff. That no. The whole thing is
same art
playing
style.
a storybook. Yeah, keep it whimsical and bright and cartoony and fun, and just make it a higher poly pretty version.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm even gonna say maybe not even voice it. Keep just the basic voice clips.
I can, yeah. That game was not fully voiced, was it?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Just some of the attacks, a couple of grunts, and the bonus track on the CD if you put it into a CD player.
Okay, and that's only on the Dreamcast version, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was gonna say that doesn't work on the GameCube version.
Like, the only thing I'd say to change really is actually give Vice's mom a name. But, beyond that, keep it the same.
Mom Vice. That's her name. Her name is Mom.
His dad's name is Dine, so just name her Mine. Come on, it ain't that hard. Make it goofy.
His name is Dine, but Undine. Und and Dine. Something like that. What game would I remake? Trying to think. A remake or remaster. I don't know. Most of the ones I want to see have been done already in some fashion. Even like Daytona has gotten a very nice remaster. I don't know. Wave Race 64?
Just make that really pretty.
Yes, I want to see that, and I want to see that one remastered with new enhanced graphics. Leave everything else the same. Everything. The music, everything. Just leave all the sound and everything alone. But the graphics, yes. Do new graphics.
I mean, I'd kind of like to just go nuts on Sega's library.
Yeah, yep.
Modern Space Harrier.
Yeah, Space Harrier. Yeah, that would be great.
Keep it arcadey. Just make it pretty.
Yeah.
Fly, shoot, bang.
Yeah, yeah. They did a Panzer Dragoon remake recently, so Burning Rangers. There we go. Let's bring Burning Rangers out of the mothballs and redo that one. That'd be a good one. That needs to be seen on. That needs to be on some other console other than the the Saturn. Like, desperately. It needs to be on something. Needs to be on something else. Um, I mean, there's all sorts of games. That's it. The thing is, though, is that it's like if they're long forgotten, I'm completely like forgetting. I'm forgetting them. I'm forgetting them now. Oh, Power Stone. That's a good one. That's a good one. And Cannon Spike. Yeah, Power Stone. New Power Stone. New Cannon Spike. Yes. I like both of those ideas. Very good. Very good. Yeah, that's freaking great games. And there's a lot of Capcom stuff you could probably pull from too. That's, not their big stuff. Rival Schools. That would be about time to see that one. New Darkstalkers. Yeah. Wow. A lot of fighting games. What games would you guys remake? Leave them down in the comments below. Do that. Here's a question from Speed Weed. Now that it is confirmed that there was a Metroid pitch at Archie, would you be allowed to divulge some of those juicy story details? Or is that still under an NDA of sorts? If so, were there any plans to include story beats from stuff like the Prime trilogy? No, Prime trilogy. Zero Mission, any of the manga stories, etc.?
I actually detailed that on my Twitter a while ago.
This might have been asked before that because this is some old questions.
Yeah.
So,
just the quick version. One pitch was meant as a standalone. The idea was that Samus is tasked by the Galactic Federation to bring down this big alien arms dealer, and he's extremely cautious. He's always surrounded by guards, and he's only going to be at this one big soiree this like one time. So she infiltrates it as her human self, and that the context of it would be her thinking, of how inhuman she has become after everything, and how her exterior is more of camouflage, predatory camouflage than anything else at this point. And so she gets through the crowd, she gets up to the guy, somebody recognizes her as Samus Aran. Things go bad real fast. She dons the power suit. The target has managed to escape into his gunship and tries to shoot her with a spaceship. And, you don't bring a spaceship to a Samus fight. You've already lost. So she blows that up and she grabs the guy and hauls him in. And I thought that was a nice way of getting into her mindset, establish the character, establish the crazy, zany, Star Trekky world that she's in, showcase her intelligence and her cunning, as well as her blow everything up ability. And that one just did not take for whatever reason. And then the other pitch was a 4-parter. I don't remember all the details. It was supposed to be kind of very basic Metroid story where Samus goes to alien planet. Researchers are looking into something strange on alien planet. There's a lot of beasties. She must shoot said beasties and save the day. I think there was some kind of conspiracy on the planet that the researchers were not completely on the up and up on what they were doing. I also don't remember all the details. But, try to do more than just Samus goes to planet, shoots things, leaves. That's a little boring. But not get too narrative heavy, because part of what Samus' story is the exploration and the individuality. And I think that one was dubbed too complex, and then the whole initiative fell through. I would have loved to do a just straight up Metroid 1 to 5 at this point adaptation. I'm not entirely sure how it would have worked. I don't know. And this is not a knock against Archie as a publishing house. I don't think they're the type of publisher who would best present it. Mm-hmm. It's not their type of book. I'm thinking like maybe Dark Horse would be the better choice on that. There's other options, I'm sure.
Funny, because I was thinking the same, very, very the same thing. It's like, yeah, Dark Horse. That sounds like more like a Dark Horse thing.
It needs to skew slightly more mature, and it needs to be able to breathe and focus on the art and the pacing. It can't be a monthly grab you with a stinger at the end type of thing. It could work, I guess, but I feel like if you're going to tell a Samus story right, it needs to have time to decompress and explore just like she does. So
yeah,
But
more of a graphic novel, regularly released graphic novel format rather than month to month.
Yeah. Like you
I
need
like
like a
that.
2-page spread, silent panel sequence of her, just exploring the underground ocean of a world or something. It's not something that you can just
Yeah.
wham bang boom through. It's not a you can't. I don't think you can tackle Samus the same way as you would do a Mega Man or a Sonic book.
Right. Tone needs to be a little different, but I'm ready for it. Dark Horse, call this man. Nintendo, call Dark Horse to call this man.
Nintendo Japan is the
Mm-hmm.
primary concern, shall we say?
Is
Delicately,
bottleneck being favorable?
I suppose so.
Yeah.
Although that implies something would actually go through eventually.
Mm. Oh, ouch. All right, and we got one last question before we take a quick break from Dove. Ian, do you see the IDW Sonic universe as magic, super science, or a mix of the two? Things like the various gems almost seem magical, but nobody seems to be using magic in a traditional sense.
Yeah, I'd say super science with a dash of magic. I mean, the Chaos Emeralds are magical. That's all there is to it. And I feel like any attempts to explain them away scientifically would diminish their power and their gravitas.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for any of the baubles of great power. But it's definitely more sci-fi first with its robots and genetically engineered things and your aliens and whatnot. It is not hard sci-fi in the slightest. It's very much science fantasy.
I guess that makes sense. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back with more BumbleKast. And we're back. Let's jump right back on in with a question from Sonic. Silver never said it was his future in the Sonic Forces prequel comic, just a vague the future. So is it possible that the future he was taking about was not his future? As you mentioned, his future is stagnant future, which means the damage done by Eggman's war would have to be well over for Silver's the Blue Skies future to happen. Also, how can his future be the Blue Skies future from after Iblis was dispersed, when Iblis and the events of 06 were erased from the timeline? Were erased from the timeline. Also, why have you not asked Saga how Silver can time travel, yet can you ask that? I would really like to know how.
Okay, number one, yes, it was Silver's future. He didn't have to specify. He doesn't go to any other futures. There are no other futures. It's implied it's his. Two, time travel in mainline Sonic is a tangled rat's nest of non-managed stuff. It doesn't make sense when you get down to it.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of have to smile and nod. So, yeah, Silver's future is good now. It somehow matches what he and Blaze created, but then it was bad because Eggman took over in the past, so he has to go to the past to change. How does he know the change? We've covered this before. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. I just go with what I got. As for the whys and the hows and the whatnots, I can ask Sega stuff. I can't necessarily tell you guys about it. Like, I try to be as informative and as transparent as possible on the show because I know having any kind of window into the inner workings of this stuff is fascinating. Like, if I was not involved, well, shoot, I'm involved. And anytime I learn something, I'm like, ooh, neat. So, anyone who's not involved, I would assume is equally, ooh, neat about this kind of stuff. But I can't talk about everything because some of it is, internal work stuff. And you just have to kind of glean it as materials come out and as products are produced. So maybe one day I will get an implicit list of this is how time travel works in Sonic's universe. Grand, that would be something I would use to write a comic, but it's not something I would be posting on my web space going, look at this internal documentation that the company gave me, because you can't do that. You can't do that. So
you can't do that and maintain a good relationship with the company.
Yeah, I could do it, but I'd only be able to do it once.
Yes.
So
yes.
Like I can dispense only as much as is reasonable without getting in trouble.
Yes.
So I will give you all everything that I can, but that does not mean it will be everything.
Yeah, well, Silver can time travel because his stainless steel construction helps with the flux dispersal. So there you go. That's not really an obscure reference necessarily, but might go over some of y'all's heads. Go watch Back to the Future. Do yourself a favor. See, Back to the Future police are coming right now to tell you to watch it. You can hear them in the background over there.
Sorry about that.
Actually, I don't know. That might be an ambulance or a fire truck. I can't remember which one sounds
It's a
like
siren
which.
of some kind.
Yeah. Yes, I can't remember which is which. But I can remember this question from Alphamon Oriyukin. Actually, I can't remember it, but I can read it to you. Will we ever get a map of IDW Sonic's world?
Maybe. At this point, I'd kind of rather Sega give us a world map at this point to work off of than create yet another world map that is going to have to be thrown out or severely updated at some point. The trick, of course, being that there have been multiple world maps throughout the franchise and none of them sync up.
No.
So
and these are all we're just talking about the world maps created by Sega themselves.
yeah. So I don't know. If Sega were to create a world map, I think they would just have to say, okay, this is what we're running with now, and use that from now on, because there's no reconciling the previous worlds. You can't do it. Not even. No.
No, I think they just leave them vague so they can just plug in whatever they want. Like Lost Hex. What's Lost Hex doing there? I don't know. It's hanging out. It's hanging out. It's hanging out with Little Planet. Whatever. It's hanging out with Angel Island. Whatever.
And I can appreciate that, but I mean, you look at how many locales are on West Side Island by itself, and that's just a island out in the ocean.
Yeah.
Just because we saw a bunch of capital cities, which may or not be the names of the countries, in Unleashed, doesn't mean we've seen every single settlement and region across that planet. I can understand not wanting to paint yourself into a corner with a hard world map that you don't necessarily know what you're going to be doing with 10, 20 years down the line.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if you say these are really big continents with lots of countries on them, and there's a bunch of itty bitty islands out in the ocean, then there's a degree that you can fudge it. It doesn't have to be down to the meter, but you don't need to know the exact airspeed travel time between Shamar and Alaska, okay? They exist on the planet. That's fine. What hemisphere is West Side Island on? We don't care. It's in the ocean somewhere.
Ironically,
go there and run through Emerald Hill.
Ironically, it's in the Eastern Hemisphere.
Okay, I don't care.
It's West Side. I'm just making a joke because it's West Side, but it's in the Eastern Hemisphere. Yes. I'm making a joke, Ian. It's very funny. You should laugh.
I'm understanding joke you are making is ha funny.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm glad someone finds it funny. I'm glad someone thinks I'm funny other than myself. The West Side Island, it sounds more like it's a continent than an island, but, continents are kind of islands. Yeah. There's lots of people patronizing me in the chat right now who say they think I'm funny. It's like, well, I don't know what to tell you guys. Get better tastes in comedy, I guess. Anyway. All right. Here's a question from Noni. Say, for some reason, the SonicCast decides to break into the old abandoned Blockbuster Video at the outskirts of town, and all of them got zapped into the films in the horror section. Who would be in what type of horror movie, and what part would they play? Amy is the final girl in a slasher flick, because that's the role she played in Sonic Adventure 1.
Sonic is the super capable one that gets bumped off early on to surprise you that, oh no, if he's gone, then anyone can go.
Yep.
See, I'm not super into horror films, so I'm not on top of all the tropes. What happens to the smart one? Because
who's the smart one?
Who actually knows? Tails is the smart one. He knows things.
Yeah. I don't know. for sure. The smart one usually ends up getting in over their head and not being as smart as they thought.
Okay.
Like, I think that's really all I can think of. But yeah, my knowledge of horror is not necessarily directly the one. I don't know.
Tangle would be the fourth wall breaking one because she's seen all these horror movies.
Yeah.
So she actually knows the pacing of the film or the tropes. And then we're getting into like Scream territory where she's trying to out trope the trope driven horror movie.
Yeah.
Omega breaks the entire narrative because he just shoots everything.
Of course. Cream is one of the killers. Cream ends up murderizing everybody. It's perfect.
Omo Chow's the one hunting people, and you think, oh no, Omo Chow's gone evil, but then he finally gets blasted, and he's like, I'm sorry, master, I failed you. And that's when you see Cream in the doorway with the butcher knife.
Yep. Cream is the slasher.
And then with that placid smile, cheese, get him. And you hear something coming down the stairs.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Big is the red herring. That's what I'm getting. They think he's the one doing the killing, but he's just there, man. He's just there. What about Shadow? He's not in he's not in a horror movie. Maybe he ended up getting sucked into something else, and that's his horror.
I don't care. Friendship is magic. Let me out.
Maybe something like that.
You can Care Bear stare into oblivion for all I care. Let me out. I don't even know where Fraggle Rock is. Let me out.
Oh, man. That's a good one. It's a good one. Wow. I don't have any others. Well, you guys, down in the comments, you know what to do. Here's a question from Madeline Bluestar 7. What are some of your favorite films of all time of any genres?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I think we've said this before. We've gone over this before many times, but at least a couple times. But hey, why not revisit this one? Back to the Future is definitely one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
All three of them, just for the world they build and everything. I'm kind of in love with that world.
I mean, the weakest one is the second one, and it's still entirely watchable.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is it's like between the second and third one are the ones that are considered the weakest. So you can go between either one, but I mean, even the weakest one is very entertaining. So, but I like 2 because it's worlds building. Because the future world is really, it's kind of funny because it's like, it was super, like, it seemed like super futuristic back when the movie came out, of course, but now it's rather quaint. Mm-hmm. Now it's rather quaint for the most part. But yes, it holds up really well. Yeah.
I can put on the extended cut of the Fellowship of the Rings as a comfort movie.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it for the other 2. The other 2 just don't grab me like that one does.
Yeah, I think that one is definitely the first Lord of the Rings movie is probably the best one.
And I specify the extended cut because I feel like that one has better pacing and tells a more complete story.
Mm-hmm.
Where the other 2, I feel like the extended cut either puts stuff in that should have been in there in the first place,
mm-hmm.
or goes a little too long in places that were already too long. So,
yeah.
But that first one, good stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. As far as superhero movies go, I still love to watch the first Ant-Man movie. I'm a sucker for a good comedy, superhero comedy movie, so I like that. The first Ant-Man's great. Captain Marvel, I still love. So many movies, man. There's just too many movies. That's the problem.
Like, if we're going to just talk the Marvel cinematic universe. Winter
Yeah.
Soldier,
Winter Soldier.
easy.
Yep. Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse, that's not MCU, but it's Marvel. Spider-Verse is
yeah.
one of the best.
That's exquisite.
One of the best
Yeah.
animated movies of all time, really.
The last two Avengers are, again, comfort movies. I'll put them on and not even like watch them. It's just I know these scenes and they give me the good feelings.
Yep.
In terms of execution, Your Name is absolutely phenomenal. I don't like to watch it because it makes me cry every time, and I know exactly why and when. And it's just it is exquisitely put together.
Wow.
So it's not a comfort movie in the slightest. It's just one of those things where it's a beautiful piece of art. I guess kind of along that line, Princess Mononoke. We went and watched Porco Rosso. Porco Rosso? Ah, I'm screwing up the name. The other Ghibli film about the post World War I pilot who's a pig, which was way more engrossing and charming than I expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a Ghibli film. It's going to be, snuggly just about no matter what you do. I mean, I guess Mononoke wouldn't be snuggly, but yeah, a lot of Ghibli films are just comfy, and that one had this lovely sense of adventure and fun and whimsy.
I'm going to put this out there, and I know it's probably going to shock many of you. Never seen a Ghibli movie. I know I should. On my list of many movies, but have not sat down to watch them yet. So, and I know that's probably going to make some people be like, "Watch them now! Stop the show and watch them." It's like, not yet.
Next time you're here, we're kidnapping you and making you watch at least one.
Okay, Mononoke sounds interesting to me.
It's an experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. I guess
Incredibles.
I guess. Of course.
I watched that one entirely too much.
Oh, it's a fantastic movie.
I researched that one.
Yeah. It's a beautiful movie. It's wonderful. I even don't mind the second one, but the first one is definitely up there. Good stuff.
You know what? Original Matrix still holds up.
Yep. Just that one, though.
I'm a bit of an apologist for the sequels, but the first one is so much better.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I don't know what happened, but...
It kind of, in my opinion, it looked too far into itself and became self-parody.
I guess that makes sense.
And this is definitely a guilty pleasure, but the original 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Mm-hmm. Why are you guilty about
also
those?
Suffers
because they're great. The first 3.
It also kind of suffers from the same thing where if you watch the first one again, sure, it's fun and it's adventurous and Jack and Barbossa are delightful, but it's a lot darker and it's a lot bleaker than I remembered it. And comparing it to the sequels, they're almost I won't say a lampoon, but they've kind of flanderized all the characters to a degree. Yeah. And they're still fun. But comparing them back to back to back, it's like there's a bit of a tonal shift here.
Yeah. But Davy Jones, though.
Oh, God.
Damn.
Every scene he is in.
There's no scenery left. It's glorious. It's glorious.
Do you fear death? As he smokes from the pipe and then blows it out a tentacle hole. Oh my God. And the CG for that.
Oh yeah, it still looks amazing because it's because it's partially practical. It's a mix of practical and CG, so it looks outstanding. It's not just all like slapped on his face.
Some of it is aged a little bit, but I mean, how old is that movie now? And it still looks good. Like even some of the Matrix stuff you go back to, and it's like, oh, okay. I can see the pixels now, or I can tell where they put all the dust on Neo so it could fly when he gets punched. I can see through some of the movie magic, but it's still fun. Davy Jones still looks spot on, and it's eerie.
It's freaky, and it's great. It's awesome. Jurassic Park, the original, has that kind of feel to it too. It's like it's
A
hard to
little bit.
catch the CG in the first Jurassic Park because they used so much practical stuff along with CG. So it makes it look more, gives more weight to it, makes it look a bit more like it's actually there. So I like that a lot. Seeing one here that comes up, Big Trouble in Little China. Fantastic movie. I love that one.
I've never seen it all the way through.
I would highly recommend you do so. It is.
I know
It's
I've seen bits of it,
fantastic.
and I know it's right up my alley, but
Yep.
just have not seen it.
They Live, also a fantastic movie. Oh, that's a good one too. The Escape from New York and L.A. Yes. So many good. Any John Carpenter film. I don't know. That guy can make a good movie, you know? He knows what he's doing. All right. Let's go on with the next question here from Ava Arctic. Though Nicole eventually became a real Mobian / Sonic's Worldian through her evolving technology, what do you think her abilities would have been if she was born a normal being instead? I know there were ideas for Nicole being her own self from Ben Hurst's concepts for Sad AM, but it would have been in the past, and I'm curious how your team would have handled it instead.
Who said she would have had abilities?
I don't know. She was not. She wouldn't just be a human. She wouldn't be a human computer.
No,
or a
saying,
Mobian computer, I should say. A Sonic's Worldian computer.
Well, let's take this as post reboot, and Nikki never died.
Mm-hmm.
She and Dr. Elodie grew up together and lived happily ever after. Who says Nikki would have any abilities?
I don't know.
People like Sonic are the exception to the rule, and we follow them because they do the exciting stuff. But yeah, she wouldn't necessarily have powers. Maybe she'd be very smart to, keep with the trend, but she wouldn't necessarily have to have abilities.
Well, I'm glad she does. So there. Here's a question from Audrey Shrugged. Are there any future plans for the Babylon Rogues to butt heads with Team Sonic in IDW? I've always liked their encounters because all three members are designed to be the rivals for Team Sonic's members, but you don't get that with the other teams. What are your thoughts on them and how well they work as rivals?
I can't think of anything currently scheduled, but I don't necessarily know what all is going to be in the next annual. So maybe ? Shrug? I don't know. Overall, they're fine. It's nice to have additions to the Rogues Gallery that are not, time devouring world conquerors. It's nice to just have a group of jerks to use every now and again. I feel like they're a trifle over-designed, and I really, really wish they had gone with the prototype designs where they had big feathery hands and they had like talon-shaped boots. Those looked so freaking cool.
Yeah.
I mean, their current design just so mundane in comparison. It's like, no, go back. Give me more Falco-looking bird people, please.
Yeah.
Especially Storm. Man, can you imagine the guns on that guy thing with the wing hands?
Beefy.
Yeah, but overall they're fun. They have a nice palette together, contrasting that of Team Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
They have a nice, simple objective, which is steal things, be jerks, be fast. And they've got a, kind of nice found family dynamic sort of deal. Not that they would ever admit to it, but they work together as a unit. And they are strong enough characters in their own right that you could take them away from each other and do a little something with them.
Yeah.
Like you could take Wave away from those two and plop her down with just about anybody else, and what the dynamic would be. You could go somewhere with that, and that's good. That's fun. I wish they showed up in more than just those 3 racing games and like the mobile stuff.
Yeah.
But
kind of weird. They would be a good if they went back to the sort of team dynamic of Sonic Heroes. They'd be a good team.
Yeah. The thing is, they're so tied to their extreme gear that I feel like that is kind of a albatross around their neck. Like, show off that they have some skill off their gear and give them that Sonic Heroes treatment. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, Jet gets to say he's the fastest one on an extreme gear. Lovely, buddy. But can you compete with Sonic on a foot race?
Yeah.
Like, if you have to have your flying surfboard, you're already working with a handicap. So,
yeah. Something like that. Something like that indeed. All right, here's this question from FireRedXY. I don't remember if Ian's ever worked on one of IDW's Disney books before or not, but hypothetical scenario where you're given the opportunity to write a book for any Disney property. What would you pick? Why? And which characters from that property would you probably focus on?
I have not, but I would love to get my hands on a Darkwing Duck book. And the characters are the Darkwing Duck franchise. Just gimme.
Yes.
I don't know what I would do with it off the top of my head, but just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Just a fun superhero book. In part because I have heard stories of just how crazy restrictive some of this stuff is. And I feel like Darkwing, up to a point, would have had a little more leeway. But with the new cartoon coming along, maybe that's not the case anymore. I'd love to be part of a revival of the freaking Gummy Bears. Man, that was my jam back in the day.
Bouncing here and there and everywhere. Yeah. Actually, I was too late for Gummy Bears, really. They were not on my radar, but I hadn't watched. So I'd never watched them. Because, I don't know, they didn't have reruns going on like DuckTales did. DuckTales had a lot of reruns.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, DuckTales was on a lot. But Gummy Bears, no, not really. It was more in the early 90s. Like the Darkwing Duck era of the Disney Afternoon and stuff. So, even though I loved Tailspin, as a kid, I really loved Tailspin. But I don't remember any of it now, and I haven't watched it in forever. So, but yeah, I'd love to see another Darkwing book. All right. Oh, go ahead.
I don't really want to cross Greg Weisman, but Gargoyles would not be opposed if I could get my hands on Gargoyles.
Ooh, that's a good one right there. That's good. Yeah. I'm down. Disney, hire this man. IDW, hire this man. Wait, you already hired him, but hire him for another thing. hire him for another thing. Do that. I dare you. Here's this question from Scruffy Matt. I was just wondering what the deal is with Rocket Metal Sonic. He and his enormous head appeared in only one cutscene and only one game at the beginning of Sonic the Fighters. By the time you can actually fight him in the game, he's reverted to his regular appearance. So what was that all about? Do you have any insider knowledge, or failing that, wacky theories?
Now, grain of salt, but I seem to remember way back in the day when I was researching it, in the Japanese, didn't really have a manual, but in the Japanese story, Rocket Metal was actually a Tails robot. And that little bit you see at the beginning is it discovering the Death Egg 2 and reporting back to Tails, and that's what prompts him to build the Lunar Fox and starts the events of the game. So that Rocket Metal isn't actually Metal Sonic. He is a completely different robot, and he's Tails built, of all things. Now, I could be wrong. I could have accidentally stumbled upon Fanon and not known at the time. So, again, grain of salt. I'm hoping that's accurate because that's really cool. If not, just chalk it up to a special kind of outer perimeter Rocket Metal model that's supposed to patrol space. And you launch right past it, land in the Death Egg Eye, and fight regular Metal.
No, it's just Sonic. It's just Metal Sonic after you've activated Big Head mode. And given the way that everybody's got like freaking stretchy arms and weird proportion stuff going on in that game, it makes sense. And finally, our last question this week comes to us courtesy of PC the Unicorn. So Ian, an obvious DC crossover many people naturally want to see with Sonic is one with The Flash. But instead of doing the obvious crossover, how would you approach doing a crossover between Superman and Sonic?
I mean, that would work pretty easily. Big Blue and the Blue Blur.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And Superman is a little more inclined to go with the status quo, and Sonic is a rebel at heart. So there could be a little bit of fun friction there, but they are ultimately super fast dudes who save people. So they would sync up pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah. It wouldn't be quite like the butting heads of Batman and Superman.
To a degree.
To a degree, yes, but it would not be like on the same level.
No. Eggman and Luthor's team up is necessary,
mm-hmm.
and that's almost borderline's world's finest Luthor and Joker, just because, you know, Eggman proves that he is quite the capable genius.
Mm-hmm.
And so Luthor is tempted to tolerate him to get things done. But the eccentricities is just a little too much for him. And then Eggman, of course, stages his vile but inevitable betrayal and takes over, giving Luthor that out. It's like, oh no, he totally took over. I didn't do anything wrong. And now he's fighting Superman with his giant Chaos Emerald powered doohickey. Chaos Emeralds, for whatever reason, have a similar wavelength to Kryptonite, so Superman actually can't just one punch man the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, he can throw Sonic at it, and Sonic can tap into that power, and now you got Superman and Supersonic, and they tear up the robot, and they save the day, and it's nothing revolutionary, but it would work.
Yeah. Metal Sonic powered by Kryptonite. I'm seeing some good things thrown out here. Knuckles versus Doomsday.
I mean, that's not really fair to Doomsday, but okay.
Not fair to Doomsday?
Are we talking like Death of Superman Doomsday, or we've run out of ideas and now Darkseid is attacking with a clone army of Doomsdays that are getting hacked apart by the Amazonians? It's
I don't know.
Not Amazonians, Amazons, excuse me.
Doomsday
used to mean something.
Well, they all used to mean something. Now they just mean money. Could Sonic tell Clark Kent and Superman apart? Could he see through the disguise?
Yeah, and he just kind of rolls with it.
I feel like, yeah. He would totally see it, but be like, yeah, I get it.
Clark and Lois have a conversation, and Sonic's kind of looking between them. A little confused, but just kind of nods along, and then she walks away, and he's like, does she seriously not know? Shh. Also, some subplot with Tails and Jimmy Olsen getting into hijinks.
Of course. Knuckles is very easily fooled by the disguise because he's Knuckles. That's how he rolls. Completely obliviously.
Man, do a deep cut. Sonic gets a pair of glasses and pops them on, and Knuckles doesn't recognize him because his name is Nicky.
Gotta have the hero code for not revealing secret identities. It's like, yep, you got a secret identity. I'll keep that for you. Oh man, there's some good fodder there.
You could actually have an interesting conversation between Sonic and Clark on the whole secret identity thing, because Sonic is himself.
Right.
He lives who he is 24/7, loud and proud. And it's like, you're Superman. Why don't you do that? Why hide? Why restrain it at all? And get into some of the thoughts behind that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, Sonic's cool with it because, he wants people to live the way they want to live. He ain't going to judge.
No. But he might try and push him to be like, you should maybe at least tell Lois. Maybe. It's kind of how it goes. All right. I think we've had enough fun on this episode. Time to wrap the fun up. No more fun allowed. But we have to give the shout outs to the patrons. So that's fun at least.
Thank you to all the people who make all this fun possible over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube memberships. Big thank you to, and I'm not even going to pretend to do it in one breath anymore, guys. This list has gotten enormous. So Thank you to Daniel H. and Alex P., James K. and John B., Jennifer R. Robotnik Holmes, Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Torchbound, Mike B., Coupling Crew 128, Duas Diz Den, Diane W., Andrew D., Scruffy Matt, Chris A., Dave M., Salute Your Cat, Sonny Off and John M., Noni, Don B., J. Frost, Yami M., Lee H.K., Lisa M., Chevelle and Jib, Hero of Light 13, Piggy Bank, Ryan D., Blue Title Gamer and Speedweed, Tick Tick, Final Neil, Justin S., and Jonathan D., Rachel W., Ben Wolfsbane, Godzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Dadler the Dalek, Daniel B., Invade Turbo Tunis, PC the Unicorn, Fiona M., Dove, Red Super Namek, Pandolce Carlos, Joe S., Preston M., Fire Red, X, and Y, Chad, Jennifer H., Alphamon or Yukon, Chico D., Renard Pixel, Les, Chase L., Spark Z, or Spark Z, depending on where you're on the border, Owen BD, John the Real Waluigi, Sapphire Scarletta, Noah S, Delta Rune Jerry, Gorgiro Highwind, Turbo, Michi, Ava Wolf, Crooker, Kimiko, Red Wolf, Lewis J, Callum Q, Radry, Professor Y, Cameron H, Alex the Border Collie, Nimric, Audrey Shrugged, which I don't know, that name cracks me up, Techno Cinema, and Madeline Blue Star 7.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody, so much for supporting us. You guys are the coolest and best, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we'll see you Wednesday for the standard Q&A.
You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
I think because Rocket Metal looks really freaking cool.
He does. I don't know if I just skipped the intro or never really realized that he had a different look to him or something. I just never registered it. He only appears real quick, so might be why I never registered it.
He does have some very basic battle data as well as Eggman outside of his power loader.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had a full move set. I think, he doesn't really work, but
yeah. Alrighty.
It would have been cool if they rebuilt him along with Honey, but I don't think the demand was quite there.
Yeah.